go, does Chuck Morgan get mad at you talking about him? And I go, no. He wants me to talk about him. He'll say, tell him this. He goes, why don't you tell him about the time I got arrested? Okay. It was over 25 years ago. We had 3 little children under the age of 5, and his company sent us the very first trip to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And I was so tickled that I was going to get to go. I'd never been anywhere like that. And my little mom and daddy took care of my babies for a week for me, so I didn't have to worry about them. And I was so excited. We flew out of our little airport in Knoxville, Tennessee. It took all day, like 12 hours, like mules, trains, planes, boats, I don't know, to get on the other side, the Pacific side. And we get in a hotel room. And I had to do unspeakable things. For 7 days. I never saw Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. By the end of that week, I was depleted. And then it was time to fly all the way back. Took another 12 hours to get back. We get into East Tennessee to our little airport, and we landed at midnight. And we had to drive up into East Tennessee where we were living, and I thought, if I could just put my hands on those babies and go to bed, everything's going to be all right. And but darn, if Chuck Morgan doesn't get pulled off by the police, I think he was going too fast. And what he ended up getting arrested for, it wasn't something bad, but we didn't know that. I think it was another ticket that he needed to pay. And we were on the side of the road, and the police car's in front of us, and I'm looking through the headlights at the police, and I'm thinking, this won't take long. We'll be out of here before you know it. I'll be home. They come around, and they get his license, and then they get him out of the car, and they take him around the front. And I'm watching all this in the headlights, and they cuff him. And he turns around at me, and I go, and he mouths something at me like, oh, good Lord, Leanne. And my whole life flashed before my eyes. I thought, he's in a drug cartel. He has another family in Idaho. I've always thought he had another family in Idaho because all of our married life, he has said, I told you that, and he hasn't. He thinks he's told me stuff, and he has not. And I've said, I've never heard that before in my life. Finally, one day I go, are you telling a woman in Idaho all this? I said, are you going to let her go to Panera, Chuck? Okay, let me tell y'all that. Chuck Morgan, when we met, we were at the University of Tennessee. Go Vols. And he was getting a master's in business and making straight A's and working 3 jobs and wooing me. And I was a wreck, honey. I barely got out of University of Tennessee. I graduated through the skin of my teeth. It took me years. I would drop out, go back, okay. But when I knew that I was going to get to marry Chuck Morgan, I thought, oh my gosh. He is so smart. He can do anything. He's going to take care of everything. He's going to work like a mule. And I'm just going to have a ball. I'm just going to... Well, we married, and I had my first baby by him. And it dawned on me one day. I thought, he's smart at work. Not at home. And I thought, oh no, surely I'm not in charge. Surely I'm not going to be the one to have to tend all this. Because it was like 3 years before that I was dancing to Prince, When Doves Cry. You know, I was like, well, let me tell you when it really freaked me out. I had my second baby. She was born April the 3rd. This was the last week of March. I was going to go at any time and give birth. And a big snow came in East Tennessee. There was snow on the ground. And I had my oldest baby Charlie was 2. He had quit taking a nap, was still in diapers. But he was a precious baby, but very active. And he would beat on the front door trying to get out so he could run down the yellow line of the highway. And I was worn to a frazzle. And I was about to give birth at any minute, and I got strep real bad. And my OBGYN was Pete, who was in our Sunday school class. And he was so cute. And I hated for him to see me that way. But Pete said, "You got a horrible case of strep. I'm going to have to put you in the hospital, Leanne, overnight. You're going to have to get a bag of fluids and rest." And I said, "For real? For real? I get to go in the hospital overnight? It's like somebody sent me to Turks and Caicos." They took me to the hospital, Chuck and had our 2-year-old Charlie, and they dropped me off early that morning and then disappeared. And didn't come back until late that night. And I said, "Where have you been?" And he went, "Nowhere." I said, "What are you doing wearing a sweatsuit and you're sweating?" He said, "Okay, Leanne, I've been playing basketball at the rec center." I said, "Full court?" He went, "Yeah, why?" I go, "Who was watching our baby while you were playing full court basketball?" And I looked down, and my baby's got on a diaper swollen down to his ankles. And I said, "What has he eaten?" And he said, "Eaten?" I said, "Chuck, listen to me." I go, "They're going to discharge me tomorrow at noon, and they need you to bring me an outfit." Let me tell y'all what he brought me to the hospital. He brought me a pair of panties that were a triangle with strings on it. My belly button was that big. My stomach was out to here. I had to somehow try to get these panties on. I think I was crowning. Those panties were the size of Mark Anthony. He brought me a pair of 6-inch pumps. Black pumps. Okay, you girls that are my age, y'all remember when Kathy Lee Gifford had her own line of maternity wear at Walmart? Did y'all remember that? It was to die for. It was very inexpensive, basic pieces, mix and match. I loved it. And then something happened with a sweatshop overseas. And they shut her down, and I was devastated. But anyway, he brought me a pair of Kathy Lee Gifford summer capris. Summer. There was snow on the ground in East Tennessee. Summer capri. He brought me a summer top that was not maternity. So it hit me about right there. And then a big old fake fur black coat that I definitely danced a prince in a club, honey. And I remember those sweet nurses rolling me out. And I know they got back in that hospital and looked at each other and said, "She's a prostitute." Let me tell y'all about my precious grandbabies. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. I'm in love with them, and I hope I have 10 more, but I've got 2 boys, and they are 2 and 4. And my oldest one calls me grandmama. And when he spends the night, he'll hold on to the railing and hold on to my hand, and he'll say, "Hold on, Grandmama, hold on." He thinks I'm feeble. It's very different being a mama than a grandmama. They're both wonderful, but they're very different. This is the difference, I think. When my babies want something, I'm going to give it to them. And my boy and his wife are wonderful parents, but they say crap to me. Things like no more riding toys. And I'm like, okay, but I cannot take back this Chevy with a gooseneck. And then they said to me the other day, "We're going to have to wean this one off his pacifier." And I was like, yep, that's a good idea. And then I went home and ordered as many as I could off the internet. Now I know why my little mom and daddy acted the way they did. They helped me so much, and my children would spend the night with them. And I remember going to pick them up, and I said to my little daddy, "Daddy, they've got a yellow film over their teeth. Had they brushed their teeth since we've been gone?" And my daddy shook and got so mad at me and said, "They didn't want to." My little mama, Lucille, every time mine would, when they were little, they'd go visit them, Mama would sling open that back door and say, "Welcome. Here's some magic markers right on the wall. Come on into Mama's house and go back and get Mama's bed and take this bucket of chicken with you. Take this bucket of chicken with you and this little bag of mini marshmallows and waller in Mama's bed and watch Disney until 3 a.m. in the morning." I do the same thing, honey. I do the same thing. I know. Who doesn't love chicken in the bed? And let me tell y'all that we beg them all the time to go on